नमस्कार, मैं अशोक व्यास हूँ और मेरी प्रसन्नता का एक कारण ये है कि मेरे साथ आज जुड़ने वाले हैं एक ऐसे योग को समर्पित शख्स कह दें, योग गुरु कह दें, जिनसे हमें बहुत कुछ सीखने को मिलने वाला है। सीखना जीवन का पर्याय है, ऐसा अगर कहा जाए तो शायद गलत नहीं होगा। वी लव टू लर्न एंड लर्निंग टू लिव ऑल्सो इज आवर continuous class of life, and entering into that class with the help of Manoj Joshi ji would be great. Manoj ji, स्वागत है आपका.
Namaste, Namaste, Ashok ji. Very nice to meet you.
Same here, and I would like to mention for our viewers that you are joining me from San Francisco, California. Um, Very quickly, if I request you to share your journey of getting into full-time yoga teacher. You are an engineer, so many times people feel that yoga gurus are not that well educated. So coming from scientific temperament and embracing yoga to the extent where you are, talk to us about your journey, please.
Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity and then address different concerns. जैसे आपने पूछे कि like how what a journey that I have taken and how did I get inclined to the yoga as a profession. So मैंने जैसे आपसे बात कर रहा था कि like I've been trained as a geologist and then I worked in the field of environment for about 10 years, like about मान लीजिए कि 1 decade. I worked on the quality of environment, about mining and its impacts in the environment. Then after that, I switched over to software. When I came to this country way back in 1997, I switched over to software engineering because I was doing that kind of work. Then I worked in the quality of software engineering. I worked for about more than a decade. Then after that, I thought like, I have got the basic foundation and inclination about yoga. Why not I switch over to yoga to improve the quality of human life? So quality of environment, first 10 years, quality of software, next 10 years. And then after that, I dedicated myself to improve the quality of life, quality of human life. And yoga, as we know, is not just a physical science of health, physical health, but it's really a platform to have a fulfilled living. It gives an opportunity to improve our mental health, our emotional well-being, our spiritual well-being, because that gives the purpose of life. Like I really got connected to the basic philosophy aspect of yoga way from my childhood time. Since age 4 or 5, I've been drawn into yoga and meditation by many sages in India. I was in Himalayas, very inspired by a lot of Himalayan yogis to get inspired about the reach of yoga and how it can really help the human civilization. So, considering all these different aspects of yoga, how it can really be a potential technology to improve the quality of human life, I thought like, I'll dedicate my life towards inspiring others to to imbibe a certain lifestyle that conforms with yogic lifestyle so that we can all have a happy and fulfilled life.
I think it is a very, very noble thought, and I'm fascinated by the way you switch from your engineering background to complete yoga guru, and you founded this wellness by all means company. And we'll talk about that more, but let me backtrack and seek your observation while you were studying environment, where you felt that there is overlap between what you are trying to accomplish for environment and what is being call it taught, or the message of Indian yoga system.
Uh, as a part of the environmental geologist or environmental scientist, when I study the quality of life in the forest, like how in a situation like where without the mining or the human interference, how the beautiful quality of life was there, and how really plundering the land and then doing unscientific mining that could impact the land, and then that in turn could change the quality of human life in terms of quality of air, quality of water, quality of soil. uh, all these things we basically take out the human life, the health aspects in a very negative way. So I connected to the environment, the mother nature, what do you call the mother earth, the mountains, the rivers. When I was deep in the forest, like now doing working with the mining people, then it connected to me like how nature is so clean, so pristine and so beautiful. So how we really learn from the nature itself. As we always know, yoga also was introduced by animals, by trees, by mountains. That's why when you look at different names of the yoga asanas, we call it like vrikshasana, we call it parvatasana, we call it sarpasana. So the nature has been always a teacher to humankind. And yoga is the right interface where we can transfer the forest knowledge from the forest to the knowledge to the concrete jungle. So I think that that link was very vivid when I was a geologist and then working in the field in the forest. Then I was getting enough time to meditate about the quality of life, and definitely that has got a lot of connection with what I do right now.
No, I'm also interested in learning from you. You mentioned about your stay in Himalayas and learning from Himalayan yogis, and Himalaya word itself gives us the vastness of not just the visual, but also vastness of the vision of Bharatiya Sanskritic, or rather cultural heritage, spiritual cultural heritage of India is sort of synonymous with Himalaya. How was your experience of being there? And if I may also add, when you attain that state of meditation, then coming back and getting into the action mode, how that balance comes about?
That's a very good question. A lot of times we think about like yoga is something different or meditation is something different. We always say like, no, I'm doing this meditation. But one of my Himalayan teachers, he taught me like, no, you can't do meditation. You cannot. Meditation is a state that happens to you. Like, there are certain routines that you do, like focusing on the breath or focusing on your, Tratak center or bhumatya, in between the eyebrows, or you think about contemplate about the beauty of the moon or the sun, or whatever. You can start with that, but meditation happens. It's the grace of the universe, the grace of the God that dawns onto you when you go into that meditative state. So having said that, he was also teaching me like meditation is not just the 2 minutes of practice, like not 10 minutes of practice or 1 hour of practice that you do. How you can stay in that state of meditation all through the day, 24/7. So that was his teaching. Like, it's mostly in the form of integral yoga, like how you can really integrate the concept, the subtle aspects of yoga meditation into your daily life, like how you're working. Like Bhagavad Gita talks about karma yogi. So as we are talking right now, we are sitting in a particular posture which is called asana, right? We're also breathing. Breath is always happening, which is also aspect of pranayama. We're also thinking, collecting our thoughts, putting them into some kind of words and sentences to make a meaning out of what we are saying. So that is also meditation. So when you think about that, we are in that constant flux of the journey of doing some asanas for the physical body, like our back is straight and upright. We're maintaining a particular posture to clearly send the message, like we are breathing in a particular way so that our voice becomes more clear, like in our confidence shows up in our voice. So when you look at that, every moment of life, yoga is already integrated into us, but what is missing is that awareness of it, so when I teach yoga and meditation, I bring that awareness aspect of it and then try to integrate that. We have been already like yogis and spiritual teachers, spiritual form, spiritual beings. But what is missing in that awareness of it? So yoga is all about becoming aware of who we are, and what is the potential that we all have. So from that point of view, bringing that state of meditation, bringing that state of yogi, like what Bhagavad Gita talks about, like Lord Krishna says that yoga rudha kuru karmani. That means be in that state of yogi and perform all your actions. So such a profound sentence, like when you are in a state of yogi, that means you're balanced. Your body, your breath, your mind, all are balanced. So from that balance point of view, if you do any action, your words become perfect, your thoughts become perfect, your action become perfect. So yoga is an integral aspect. Then we should really consider that how I can live a yogic life while doing everything that I do in life.
I think that's beautiful, to even conceive of the kind of lifestyle where you are constantly a yogi, and that was the message of Lord Krishna to Arjun, or yogi bhava Arjun, aisa kuch, I think. was the message. Coming back to your personal experience of applying yogic knowledge in other areas of your life, and before you took to yoga 24/7 while you were discharging your duties as an engineer, and again going back to environment. How being someone who has access to be able to meditate helped you in taking care of the duties whatever they were, and if I may add, whatever the role is, we find that there are some unpleasant moments, there are some people who are disagreeable, and sometimes you feel that you are not being understood the way you would like. So how being a yogi helped you in those kind of so-called adverse situations?
That's beautiful. One of the aspect of yoga, like if you can talk about, says Patanjali's Ashtang Yoga, like 8 limbs of yoga. That's called Yama, Niyama, Asan, Pranayam, Pratyahar, Dharana, Dhyana, and Samadhi. Like if you look back at the yamas, which are basically the essence of, like, what we should not do, like different kind of restrictions in life, like say for example, ahimsa, like now what we should not do, like we should not be hinsa, like we should not do the cruelty. So ahimsa, satya, ahimsa, asteya, brahmacharya, aparigraha, daya, arjava, kshama, mitahara, shuchi. These are the 10 yamas that I learned from the Himalayan masters. There are 10 yamas, 10 niyamas, which are the rules that we should follow, like do's and don'ts. So that belongs satya, ahimsa, asteya, brahmacharya, aparigraha, daya. So these are the niyamas, but the yamas talks about, the Niyamas talks about tapa, santosha, astikya, dana, iswar pujana, siddhanta sravana, hri, mati, japa, brata. So actually, I made a global meditation marathon based on these beautiful concepts, the 20 yogi concepts, how we can really bring in those values into our personality. So when you think about any of these qualities, like being truthful, being honest, being non-violent, or ability to do the hard work, right? Be contented, become happy in life. Like if you look at any of these qualities that I just talked about, 20 different yogic values, if we just master one of these, definitely we can become more empathetic towards life, right? So whenever there is a communication, like if somebody is saying something which is not very palatable, which is not very pleasant, you won't necessarily come to the conclusion like that person is bad, right? We'll beyond the conclusion, you'll try to understand, like, where this person is coming from. He must have got something bad in his life today. So out of empathy, you will try to understand his problem or her problem in a different way. So when we build in that empathetic attitude, like yoga talks about aham brahmasmi tattvamasi, that I am that Brahman, you are also that. So when we bring that platform that I am the same that he is or she is, then why this difference? So this difference is coming from avidya, or the ignorance, right? Maya. So there is something, there is a setting for us to learn something that is deeper in our life. So that is what the stages, the universe has created the stage, in a situation where somebody is throwing some angry words at you, and now you're a test, right? So आपको एक परीक्षा हो रही है कि like ना आप कितना योगी हो, आप कितना समन्वित हो, like how much your equanimity, how much practice of equanimity you have attained, what is your coping mechanism. So if we take from that point of view, all those teachings of yoga can help us to be in balanced state of mind, reduce the stress. Stress will always be there, anger will be always there, emotional imbalance will always come into your life. But practicing these concepts, doing meditation every day, doing some asanas every day, so being in that perfect state of body, mind, and spirit, that will enable us to be like an Arjun with Krishna consciousness in our heart. That means we can be in that field of Kurukshetra all the time, but we'll be the warrior, we'll be the winner all the time. Doesn't mean that we have to defeat somebody, but we can always create that win-win situation. You also win, I also win. So how we can really create the beautiful play of life, or game of life, where everybody is happy, to the extent possible. So that is the practical aspects of yoga, which I practice on a day-to-day basis, whether I am a consultant at work, or teaching some yoga classes in my class, or coaching somebody for optimizing their life towards fulfillment, towards happiness, then I bring in these practical concepts together, and then try to associate with different kind of examples from the technology, from the science, from day-to-day things, so that people can create that aha moment. Ah, now I understand that. So as a teacher, our goal is to remove those ignorance, remove those obstacles that they have got in their life, and then they will get more inspired to embrace the beauty and the delight of life in a natural way.
Embrace light of life in natural way, and when you listen to Manojji, you feel like listening to him continuously. And so that win-win situation which he talked about becomes a part of our experience when you listen to words of wisdom coming from someone who has put them into practice himself or herself. So in the case of Manojji, I'll bring this to the attention of our viewers again, uh, that you are an engineer, you moved to America, you took to software engineering, did your MBA also. So that sort of a background, when is a part of someone who is teaching yoga, then he knows where you are coming from in terms of the range of the possible mind and the situation and aspirations, etc. So that is a big, big plus. But now, staying with your journey, Manojji, you took some important decisions in your life, which included leaving your corporate world or that well paying job to embark upon an adventurous journey of working or dedicating yourself to improve the quality of life of people through yoga. So, how was that period? And I also take the liberty of sharing the name of your wife, Gayatri ji,
Yes,
and
Gayatri.
you also had the experience of being in close proximity or learning from Gayatri Parivar. So Gayatri Mata is always always with you. So talk to me about that phase when you were deciding to start afresh in a new role.
That's a very interesting point. That it just reminds me, just like this interview that you're doing. During the time that I took over in 2010, kind of thing, we just had got the center first time, and then we created a beautiful platform where we could teach children and teens. My wife would teach Odissi dance. Like, she's also a software engineer, but also she is passionate about her Indian classical Odissi dance, and then she has got hundreds of students that she teaches and coaches every day. So we both created, why don't you build an ashram kind of situation here? So we live very close to our place of work, and then just like a couple of minutes drive. So we thought, if you build a beautiful platform where children and families can come together, and then they can learn yoga, they can learn Odissi classical dance. We can build a platform where other teachers can come. Like, that was the dream that came true. It was a dream that we both bought into it. And since my wife continued her IT job, and she's still working in that field, so with her grace, I would say, with Gayatri Ma's grace, like, because I was ardent devotee of goddess Gayatri, that's why probably I got her as my life partner. So both of us kind of work together, even though, in the Silicon Valley, people are very ambitious of making billions and billions of dollars here. We thought, no, we touch human life, like we'll touch build a foundation for culture. We want to bring in the Indian culture and heritage in these children. We want to pass on what we really believed in, being in India and coming over here. Like, that is our Janma Bhumi, Bharat, and this is our Karma Bhumi, America. Like, how we can bring the best of these two worlds together to build a foundation for young children. How do you transfer this knowledge of yoga or Odissi dance, something, to the children of the next generation? So that was our common dream. So far, by God's grace, we have been pulling through. This center has been there for last 15 years. Many As I told in the beginning, I'm from Odisha, so we have got a very thriving Odia community in the Bay Area. About 5-10,000 families are there here, and then we have got a lot of temples. And I'm a part of a board of temple called Jagannath Education Cultural Center. So we have got a lot of supporting families here. And one of the other thing that also I would like to mention, during the early stage of my switching over to yoga as a full-time profession, the the radio channel came in. Like, there was Radio Jindagi. I partnered with them. I was the first customer, and so through that platform, when I talked for 1 hour on a radio station where 50,000 people listened to me, I think it got connected to them. Like, people really came out in a big number to embrace the aspect of yoga and mindfulness, the applied aspect, to practically see like how they could take care of their own personal life, how they could improve the relationship that they are going through, how they can teach something to their children. So that gave me a good platform to bring in a lot of clients or a lot of friends, like, who believed in what I wanted to share, and then that supported our center. And we've been running over 15 years right now, serving the community with the yogic knowledge, with classical knowledge, to help total health, physical health, mental health, emotional health, social health, and spiritual well-being.
So you have a physical space with which is a center for wellness by all means in San
Yes,
Francisco.
yes. So this invites a lot of teachers from India. Like, every month we invite a lot of teachers, because Bay Area is a happening place. So, and all these wonderful teachers from India, they come. So somehow they find about us, and then we do a lot of workshops here. Like, next week we're going to do a workshop with pranayama. So before that, many different teachers have come in, and then blessed this place with their knowledge. And so this is a happening place where we bring in a lot of yogic teachers from India. On right now, because of online platform, we're also aspiring to connect to teachers from all over the world to promote Indian concept of yoga, the authentic aspects of integrated yoga, how we can, what Modi ji is promoting, or what the Sanatan Dharma talks about, how yoga can have a holistic nature to help humanity to pass through this critical juncture where the technology and spirituality can be merged together to bring a platform or ultimate human quality of life.
It is always inspiring to talk to people who live what they talk about. So, as they say, walk the talk. And Manojji, we will conclude this session with one question, but we will talk about personal excellence in the next session with you in the light of yoga. So, the question that I have for you is, many times when you start something where you are driven initially with a selfless motive, and there is compassion in action, and you are not looking at the commercial aspect of it, but invariably it happens that, I'm not talking about you, but I'm just taking a general scenario. The individual start thinking that he's doing so much, but the society is not responding, and it is not. There is no reciprocity from those who are learning, and rather than being grateful, they are being more demanding and those kind of stuff. Uh, you were not there. I can assume that. Uh, but talk to me about, how would you rate your journey in the last 15 years or so, when you have been a full-time yoga guru?
It's always challenges are always there. Like, that's what they call, like, sometimes when Saraswati Mata is blessing you with a lot of knowledge, maybe Lakshmi ji is behind. you know being Lakshmi ji and Saraswati ji together is also great challenge. Like, sometimes we have to be very creative, like, because they are all divine mothers. Like, I believe in certain things, like the wisdom is given by Goddess Maheshwari, and then the power is given by Mahakali ji. Then all these resources, the harmony, the beauty, everything is given by Goddess Lakshmi. And finally, the skills and perfection that we need is coming from Goddess Saraswati. And this is happening behind our scene. What you see, Google, Facebook, and this platform, this technology, all these things we are doing, is behind that is the spirit of Mata Saraswati. She is the perfectionist. So she is building a world. So I believe, when you believe in this grace, when you believe in the spiritual world, there are a lot of unseen things. So sometimes we, because of our limited timing sense, like, we think, like, okay, resource is not coming to me, or this person is becoming very adverse in my thing. But ultimately, when you look at the complete whole over total and then collective success of individuals, I think we have got more points to be happy and fulfilled in our life. It's a collective success in a family. If you can see, there is a collective success by the husband and wife. But when we start thinking about what's there for me, then the whole world falls apart. So I think yoga is a science of unity. Yoga is a science of integrity. So when we join our minds together, our hearts together, overcome the greed, the anger, the lust, and all the different enemies of human mind, try to balance out little bit more, not too much, but a little bit more, then I think everyone's quality of life will be much better, and then we can appreciate the grand picture of all these divine things that's happening behind the scene, and we can collaborate with the nature, with the universe, with the God, to make this life even more beautiful and bright and delightful.
Wonderful. So life is beautiful. That assurance is always given to us from our yogic rishis, and that lineage, that knowledge continues to reach to us in various forms and through Manoj Joshi ji also. And in next session, we will be talking about how to move towards personal excellence with you, Manoji. I appreciate you taking time out and joining us with lots of good wishes.
Thank you, Ashok ji. Very, very nice interview, and then we wish you all the best. And thank you very much once again for this platform.